Hello, 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 my friends. Chris Cooking Nashville here with a weekly health vlog update video and some exciting stuff to tell you about. First of all, thank you guys so much for tuning into these health vlogs and just my recipe videos and everything else you have been watching. As of yesterday, I completed my challenge of being on a carnivore diet for 365 days with no cheat meals. Now, because I know there's probably going to be someone who comes to find me in the comment and says, you're not a real carnivore because you use spices and you eat too much dairy and blah, blah, blah. I don't care for the dogmatic, you have to be 100% purest carnivore thing or else it doesn't count. I'm not going to argue about those things. If you're one of those people who wants to be a carnivore police, good for you. Go somewhere else. So on a carnivore diet, including some spices and, some dairy and some things like that that the purists may not agree with, 365 days on a carnivore diet with no cheat meals, no servings of veggies, no carbs, like the things that I used to eat, none of that for 365 days. Now, there are some things about that are challenging overall. Once I got through, the first few weeks, the cravings pretty much went away. And so the rest of it was really just about the logistics. I think that one of the things that I really wanted to prove to myself and to kind of show you guys is that this can be done and that you can go really as long as you want for the most part. Not because you have to do that, right? This is not oh, look, here it can be done, therefore if you're not doing it, you're not good enough. That is not the point of this kind of an experiment. This is purely as an inspiration of you can do whatever it is that you choose to do with the goal that you set for yourself when it comes to a proper human diet and how you want to do it. So it can absolutely be done 365 days. And listen, in that 365 days, like we were on tour and I had to figure out, how to have dinner in various places where I didn't have access to my kitchen. And we had emotional ups and downs and busy schedules and all this kind of stuff. Like I experienced all of that over the last year, still stuck with it. So today is day 366 since I started that whole thing. I wanted to tell you a little bit about what Chris Cooking Nashville is going to be like going forward. I'm still going to, most of the time, be doing carnivore because carnivore is what works best for me. The spices and the dairy I include, those are the ones that don't bother me. From time to time, I use less spices and dairy, and then I add them back in and just kind of see how I feel. And I'm always, vacillating back and forth because I'm trying to find the ultimate way that I feel the best and what gives me the best health at all times. I'm still going to be doing that most of the time. That being said, I am going to experiment a little bit with some keto and ketovore items from time to time in my own diet. Not because I feel like I'm somehow missing out on anything, but I want to know, what can my body really do? What can it handle? What makes me feel good? And what really bothers me? Because you don't know until you've been on both sides of the experiment where the line actually lies for you. Listen, I love carnivore and I love feeling great, but meat, salt, water can get very boring. And even if that is the ultimate way for our body to function and that's the ultimate way to eat and whatever, doesn't necessarily mean that culturally that's the easiest thing to do sometimes. And I don't necessarily want to be doing a bunch of keto stuff and, whatever on a daily basis, but it is nice to know if there are things that I can have that don't bother me, or maybe they bother me but not very much if I eat them just very rarely, because there's times I'm going to be in situations it may be difficult for me to eat pure carnivore, or it may be insulting to somebody if they try to offer us food or, something and I turn it down and whatever. And I've figured out how to navigate things like that, in the last year. So it's not that I can't navigate it, but sometimes you don't want to have to go through the stress of constantly navigating everything. If I can eat a salad and a steak and some broccoli and then go right back to being carnivore the next day and realize it doesn't really bother me that much. Or maybe it really does bother me. And so I'll be informed as to what kinds of things I can or cannot include in those times. So I'm just going to do a little bit of casual, gentle experimentation. I'm not going to go massively off the deep end on the side of veggies and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to get deep into like the whole keto sweets, keto treats thing. If you like those kinds of things, that's great. I know for me, that would not be a smart place to go because that would probably fuel cravings for me. So I don't want to head down that path and risk that because it's not worth the way those things make me feel. And quite honestly, I don't have cravings for like sweet stuff or those kinds of things. They just don't mean that much to me, never really did. I would eat them because I would start craving them because my body was super inflamed and I had a food addiction and I had a carbohydrate addiction and I was struggling with stuff. But now that I have that under control, that is not the stuff that gets me like, oh, excited, I don't care about any of that stuff. What gets me excited is really great cuts of steak or really nice seafood or things like that. So I want to lean into that because that stuff is good for me. And occasionally it would be nice to be able to, include some ketovore type stuff or a keto side or things like that on a rare occasion. So I'm just going to very casually experiment with a few little things here and there, just kind of figure out what makes me feel good, what doesn't make me feel good, and how is best for me to pursue my health. So that's one thing that's going to be going on this next year. The second thing that I want to work on is a goal for this year for Chris Cooking Nashville, for me personally as the personality on camera here. I want to see if I can hit my ideal body weight this year, or well, I say my ideal body weight. What I really mean is I want to get to a weight in my head that makes me think I'm probably getting close to an ideal body weight. When I get there, see how I'm doing, how I feel, how I look, what my body wants to do, so that I can get a more accurate idea of what my ideal body weight is. Because it's been so long since I've been close to an ideal body weight that I honestly don't know. With my bone density and my muscle structure and all these kinds of things, I don't really know what my ideal body weight should be. So I want to get somewhere. Right now, I know you guys might be wondering what my weight is this week. My weight has not changed. I'm still sitting at that like 257 to 258 range, that 127 pounds of weight loss. I'm still sitting right there, and that's great because that means in the last 3-4 weeks, I haven't gained anything, even though I'm eating as much as I want. And that's a huge success because that is not the way my body used to be. Even though I haven't lost any weight, I haven't gained any weight, and I'm not feeling deprived of anything. And I don't count macros. I don't worry about any of that stuff. I just get lots of fat and protein, and I enjoy. I want to try to get down to somewhere between 200 and 220 pounds. I'd like to get all the way down to 200, but if I get under 220, I'll feel like I'm down in that range where now I'm getting within striking distance of knowing what an ideal body weight is. Because 260 pounds, a little below that right now, that's not where I want to be. I want to be down between 2 and 220 and figure out, okay, do I need to be 200? Do I feel good at 210? Do I need to get down to 180? Like what is an ideal body weight for me? Because I'm 6 feet tall and I am also broadly built. I have very broad shoulders. I have great big thigh muscles. I always have. I've just had big legs my whole life. I played soccer. I was in Taekwondo. You guys might not know, but I'm a 2nd degree black belt in Taekwondo. And, I have really strong lower body muscles, my legs and my glutes and all that kind of stuff. I've always had big muscles. It's just the way I'm built. So I'm never going to be probably like 160 pounds. Like even when I was in high school, when I was like 17 years old, and I was like right there about ready to have a 6-pack. I was in great shape. Taekwondo every week. I was in great shape. And I was still like 180 to 185. And that's when I was 17 years old and had a skinny neck and all that kind of stuff. I'm 35 now, and I've bulked up a bit as I've gotten older. So I don't know if I got down to 180 to 185, I don't know if that would be too thin, if that would be ideal. I'm not really sure. So I want to get down as close as I can to 200 this year and just kind of see where we're at. So that's going to be a goal that I'm going to be shooting for, to just let my body do its thing. And I'm not going to panic, but I'm going to shoot for it and experiment to see what are the things I need to do to help myself lose weight down to hopefully 200 by January of next year. So keep in touch with the channel here, and I'll show you that journey along the way. Another thing I'm going to be doing this year is we're actually starting a brand new kind of video. I want you guys to put this in your calendars because it's going to make a huge difference, I think, for your cooking ability on a keto, ketovore, or carnivore diet. On Tuesday nights, Tuesday evenings at, I believe we said 6 o'clock Central Time, so 6 p.m. my time here Central, which would be 7 o'clock Eastern, I'm going to start doing a live stream on Tuesdays called Backstage with Chris, or some version thereof of Backstage. Basically, this is a backstage pass, guys. You're going to come backstage with me. I'm going to be in my kitchen cooking dinner for Ash and I, and we're going to be on a live stream, and she's going to be sitting there helping me to monitor this, and I'm just going to cook, and I'm going to show you how I'm cooking, and I want you guys to ask me questions. I want you to come on, ask me questions about our health, about our life, about our music, and importantly, about our cooking. So if you have questions about cooking, you want to know how something is done, you want to know if I have a recipe for a certain dish, whatever, I want you guys to come to the live stream, and I want you to ask us questions and just let us know what it is that you would like to see or how you are doing. Just come hang out with us. Come out and talk with us on the live stream, right? So Tuesdays, that's going to be starting end of January or beginning of February. So keep an eye on my channel. I'll make an announcement of when our first one is going to be, and just, set it in your schedule if you want to just come hang out with us, because I really want the community for you guys to be able to talk to each other in the chat, and I want you to be able to talk with us live and ask questions and get your questions answered. And quite honestly, on lives and stuff like that, there are things like the super chats and all that kind of stuff. So if you are looking for a way to support Chris Cooking Nashville and you want to come to our live stream and you just want to, buy a super chat, say thank you, or, ask a question or whatever and put a super chat, it's just a way for you to do that. I don't expect that, but if that's something that you would just like to support the channel, it's just another way to do that. And plus, it gives you a chance to share the live stream with friends of yours on social media, via cell phone, however it is you want to send them the link, and just let them know that I'm here. So it helps us grow Chris Cooking Nashville, and it gives you a chance to come hang out with us, to be in our kitchen, to be backstage as we are doing our stuff, and you get to watch me cook live. This is another thing that, when I first started my channel, I used to get some criticism from people who didn't know who I was, that my recipes are really hard and there's no way they have time to cook like this and all this kind of stuff. And I get it. Everybody's busy, and I try to make stuff as simple as I can because I have to have that in my own life too. I mean, I work 4 jobs. I get it. But I cook everything we make at a home to the best of my ability. I try to use as few pre-made products as I can. I get things like egg white powder for certain recipes, or, some pre-made products. But if I can make it myself, I try to make it myself. But I cook all of our meals, and I do that because that's what I believe is best for our health, and I'm just trying to take care of us. So I want you to be able to come hang out with us on the live stream, ask any kitchen questions, cooking questions, health questions, whatever it is you want to talk about. And also just watch how I cook, because I think one of the things that makes cooking difficult for people is they don't know how to set themselves up to cook efficiently. If you watch me do it, and especially if you ask me questions of why do I do things in certain orders, or how do I set up my kitchen, or any of that kind of stuff, I am more than happy to show you what I do and why, and explain to you, here's the reason and here's the benefit it gives me. Maybe this is something that would help you, or you can come up with your own version of doing it that might be more useful for your kitchen and how you like to cook. So I think it's going to be a really cool video style, and I think it's going to be something that'll be really helpful for you guys. At least I hope it is. I think it should be something that will be beneficial to you, and we just hope that it's something that will be not only good for your cooking ability and for your interaction with us here, but that'll be good for the community and help us grow the channel and everything that we're trying to do. So that's really cool. Another thing is we are getting ready to launch the brand new Chris Cooking Nashville website. It's going to be chriscookingnashville.com. We're almost done with it. I'm going to be putting that up there, and we are working to have printable recipes for you guys. So that's a challenge to be able to put that stuff up there, just because technology-wise, that takes a lot of work, and it can be even more work to maintain that as I create recipes. So I'm going to do my best. I don't know if we'll be able to get printable recipes exactly the way that we want. All of my recipes will still be in the descriptions of my video if we can't get printable recipes, but if we can, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a link directly to the recipe on my website in the video description of my recipes, where you can watch the video. You can then click that link and it'll take you right to a printable recipe card. One of the two. I don't know exactly what we're going to have with that, but we're trying. We're going to try to make it whatever is the most efficient for you guys. But we're going to have the Chris Cooking Nashville website. You can buy my merch there. When I hopefully someday can afford to quit the day job, the first priority will be writing a cookbook. And when that gets done, you'll be able to buy the cookbook on chriscookingnashville.com. So fingers crossed, maybe if Chris Cooking Nashville grows enough and we can do this full time. I mean, I already put in the hours to do it full time, but if the income from running the business becomes enough to be full time, then, you know, we might be able to get out of the day job and be musicians and be Chris Cooking Nashville. And that's all we'll have to do. And then I'll have the time to do things like write cookbooks and do more stuff for you guys. That's another hopeful kind of a goal for Chris Cooking Nashville this year. But we will be coming out with a brand new website that'll be launching soon. So watch the channel. I'll put up an announcement about that as well. Also, another cool thing that I would like to share with you guys, I hit 50,000 subscribers just a couple of days ago. And y'all, I've never said it out loud on YouTube here, but one of the things that I would love to do is hit 100,000 subscribers. You get that YouTube silver play button when you do. And I just think those are cool. And it's just an achievement that so few YouTube channels ever get to do, where they hit 100,000 subscribers and they can get that silver play button. And it's not really about the button, but it's more about the meaning behind that. And as every time I see another level that we're hitting on the subscriber count, it just lets me know we're reaching more and more and more people with this mission to change the world one plate at a time. So do me a favor and make sure to share the channel whenever you get a chance to. Just help us try to grow the reach of that, because hitting that 100,000 subscribers would be cool to get that play button. That's a goal that I would love to maybe even hit this year. But more importantly, the more we grow that subscriber count, the more people we can help with this kind of stuff, because I get messages all the time how much this is helping people and how much the recipes just mean something to someone. And nothing makes you feel better as a recipe creator than to know people love your food and to know that it helps them specifically, because we love helping people and we just want to offer the skills and the recipes and the various things that I put out there as Chris Cooking Nashville in a way that helps the most people. I appreciate what you guys do to help us grow here. That's the only reason that this is happening. And I'm very excited that we hit 50,000 subscribers. Man, I never imagined when I began this channel about a year ago that I would have been in this position here. So unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. And that is thanks to you guys watching and sharing my videos. So thank you for that. So it's been a busy week for Chris Cooking Nashville, and there's a lot of milestones and a lot of goals that have been achieved. And as you can tell, I have a lot more goals for the new year. It is my hope that someday Chris Cooking Nashville is looked at as one of the, if not the best keto, ketovore, and carnivore recipe channels on the internet. I really would like to be just known for the best recipes for low carb in the world. I think people in the low carb sphere deserve good food, and they deserve to feel like they are culturally relevant and like they can do things for their families and they can cook to make their kids and their parents and their friends and whoever else enjoy food that is good for them. And the only way that happens is to have the best recipes possible. And that's my goal, to be that for as many people around the world as I possibly can. And the only way I can get there is through the support that you guys give me. So I really want to say thank you. I wanted to let you all know about all of the goals so that you can jump on board and you can be behind them if that's something that you would like to do. All of my links are down below, the Patreon, and you could do the YouTube memberships, my Amazon shop, my affiliate links, all of that. It's all ways that help us support this so we can afford to get the gear and the ingredients that it takes for me to experiment and for me to make the videos and for me to do this for you guys. And the more time I have to do it, the better stuff I can put out. So we thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts that you support what we do, because we have a huge family here in the carnivore and keto world, and it just means so much. So I have a very cool recipe video coming out on Saturday. Keep an eye out for that one, because it's something a little special and a little different than what I've done before, but I think it's going to be really cool. And there's a little bit of a thank you in that to someone who's very important to us. So keep an eye out for that. That'll be coming. Guys, thank you for everything that you do. I love you. I cannot possibly express to you in words how much you mean to us and what it means that you have taken Chris Cooking Nashville to be such an incredible, incredible thing. Thank you guys for watching. This is Chris Cooking Nashville. Eat your meat. Get ready to achieve your goals. Love your life. I'm going to see you guys in the kitchen for the next recipe and a whole bunch of really cool stuff coming.